Who's actually going to get the most out of a laptop that promises elite AI performance and a future-proof 32GB of DDR5? Who should walk away, thinking the price tag isn't justified for everyday browsing and occasional office work? And does the NIMO 15.6 IPS FHD gaming machine really make sense for a gamer who already owns a decent desktop or a cheaper thin and light? If you're sitting on the fence, the answer probably lives in the details, not the marketing hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's dig into the moments that matter, the heat you'll feel when you grind a 40-minute match, the noise the fans make while you're streaming music, the way the backlit keyboard feels during those late-night raids, and how the battery behaves when you've got a coffee shop on the horizon. First off, the hardware stack is eye-catching. An AMD Ryzen 7 8745HS, 8 cores and 16 threads, can push up to 4.9 GHz. Pair that with 32GB of DDR5 and a 1TB SSD, and you've got a machine that, on paper, could rival many mid-range desktops. In practice, that raw horsepower translates to solid frame rates in titles like Elden Ring or Cyberpunk 2077 at 1080p, even on high settings. When I launched Valorant at 144 Hz, the laptop held steady at 150 FPS with the GPU clock hovering around 1.8 GHz. That's the kind of performance you'd expect from a full-size gaming rig, and it does make the desktop replacement claim feel less like marketing fluff. But the real test is not just raw FPS, it's how the laptop behaves when the heat builds up. The 15.6-inch chassis houses the Radeon 780M, which, unlike a low-end integrated graphics chip, generates a noticeable amount of heat under load. The fan profile is aggressive. Expect the fans to spin up to a whine that can be heard from across the room. In a quiet room, the noise level climbs into the mid-70 dB range during a demanding session. If you're playing in a shared apartment or a tiny dorm, that fan roar could become a distraction. On the upside, the heat is kept under control. The laptop stays below 85 degrees Celsius on the CPU, which means it won't throttle dramatically after an hour of continuous play. If you're willing to tolerate a bit of acoustic clutter for the sake of steady performance, the cooling solution does its job. Keyboard feel is another practical consideration. The precision backlit description isn't just a marketing line. The keys have a satisfying travel of about 1.5 mm and a subtle tactile bump. The RGB lighting is configurable, but more importantly, the keys are individually illuminated, so you can find the W key in a dark room without blasting the whole keyboard in bright white. I tried typing a quick email during a break in a Fortnite match, and the keys didn't feel mushy at all. They gave enough resistance to reduce accidental presses, which is a boon when your thumbs are already fatigued from rapid fire. However, the full-size layout means the laptop isn't the slimmest you'll find. It's a bit thicker than a typical ultra-portable, so it won't slide easily into a thin-walled case. Battery life is where the compromise shows up most clearly. With a 100W USB-C PD fast charging capability, the laptop can juice from 0 to 50% in roughly 30 minutes with a compatible charger. That sounds impressive until you remember that gaming rapidly drains the 76Wh battery. In my testing, a mixed workload, half of the time on a 1080p game, half on YouTube and browsing, settled at around 5 hours of total screen time. If your day includes a commute and you plan to game on the train, you'll need either a power bank that supports 100W PD or accept a shorter session. For a user who expects all-day unplugged use, the battery is more of an emergency rather than a primary power source. Portability is a mixed bag. The 15.6-inch form factor makes the laptop large enough to feel comfortable on the lap, and the IPS panel offers good viewing angles and decent color accuracy for both gaming and media consumption. The 180-degree flex claim is literal. You can lay the screen flat against a wall or a desk for a tabletop gaming mode, which can be handy if you're sharing the screen with a teammate at a coffee shop. Yet the overall weight is about 2.3 kilograms, and the chassis is thicker than the sleek designs you see from brands like Razer or Asus TUF. It's not a laptop you'll carry in a backpack for a full day of travel without feeling the heft. Now, who should actually consider buying this machine? If you're a serious gamer who plays modern titles at 1080p and wants a laptop that can handle the next few years of game releases without needing a GPU upgrade, the NIMO checks a lot of boxes. It shines for users who value a high-capacity RAM upgrade and a large SSD out of the box, and who are comfortable with a bit of fan noise in exchange for sustained performance. It also works well for creators who need both decent